So you're planning that big international trip. That's awesome. But while you're dreaming about new places and amazing food, have you thought about your digital baggage? Because here's the thing. The second you cross a border, all those privacy rules you count on back home, they can just vanish.
You might be thinking, nah, that won't happen to me. But check this out. Next time you're on an international flight, just look around. Statistically, 1 out of every 4 people on that plane, one of them is going to have some kind of data breach on their trip. Yeah, this isn't some rare lightning strikes twice kind of thing. It's a real, common risk of travel today.
And, if you're traveling for work, the stakes get dialed up to 11. We're talking about a single phone or laptop, if it gets compromised, leading to a company data breach that costs, on average, wait for it, $1.2 million. That's from just one device.
And it's not always about the money either. Get this is a true story. A well-known international reporter, their phone gets cloned during a totally routine border check. And within 48 hours, their confidential sources, the people they promised to protect, start getting threatening messages. This wasn't some sophisticated Hollywood-style hack. It happened at a border crossing. And that's why we need to talk about this. Okay, so the risks are definitely real, but the good news is the fixes are pretty straightforward. Here's how we're going to tackle this. First, we'll look at the top threats out there. Then, your pre-travel security plan. After that, how to stay safe while you're traveling. And finally, a little checklist for when you get back home. We'll also wrap it up with the single most important takeaway. All right, let's dive in.
All right, Section 1, today's top travel threats. So, why is your data so much more vulnerable when you're abroad? Well, the moment you cross that border, it's like you're stepping into a whole new digital world with a completely different set of rules. Your data's playing an away game and it doesn't have a home field advantage.
Think about it like this. Here at home, you kind of know the deal, right? You have legal rights, security's pretty predictable, and if someone steals your phone, they're probably just going to sell the device itself. But internationally? Whoa. The legal protections are all over the place, you've got state-sponsored surveillance to worry about, and theft, it's often not for the phone, it's for the data inside it. And yeah, we can't forget about good old-fashioned theft. It's still a massive problem. No surprise here, touristy areas are the biggest hotspot, making up almost half of all cases. Right behind that, you've got public transit and airports. But here's the key. It's not just about losing a $1,000 phone anymore. It's about them getting their hands on that goldmine of data you've got stored on.
So what about when you need to get online? You see that free cafe Wi-Fi and think, perfect. Well, maybe not. A wild 62%, that's nearly 2/3 of public Wi-Fi networks around the world, have basically zero proper security. They're like an open playground for hackers.
So how does this actually happen? It's usually a simple 4-step process. First, they have to deliver it, maybe a shady app or a phishing link you click on. Second, it infects your device, finding a little loophole to sneak in. Third, it starts collecting everything, your passwords, your messages, you name it. And finally, exfiltration. It quietly sends all that juicy data back to the attacker's servers, all while you're just sipping your coffee.
But maybe the single biggest threat is at the border itself. This is where the rules get really different. Just look at this. In the US, they can do a basic search of your phone without a warrant. Refuse? They can take your device and you might not get in. In other places like China, they might demand you install an app for a full inspection. Russia? The FSB can access and even clone your device, and in the UAE, they can copy your data, and refusing could lead to criminal charges. This isn't about suspicion, it's national policy.
All right, Section 2, your pre-travel security plan. Okay, enough doom and gloom. Let's flip the script and talk about what you can do. Because honestly, preparation is your absolute best defense. What you do before you even lock your front door is what matters most.
And it all boils down to this one simple, powerful idea. The best way to protect your data is to not bring it with you in the first place. Seriously, it's the golden rule of travel security.
So think of this as your digital packing checklist. Just like you pack your clothes, you gotta pack your tech. Step 1, back up everything. I mean everything, and leave those encrypted backups safe at home. Step 2, update everything. Your phone's OS, your apps, those updates have crucial security fixes. Step 3, minimize. Delete apps and files you absolutely don't need for the trip. And step 4, just double-check that full disk encryption is turned on. It usually is, but it's worth a look.
Next, let's talk password hygiene. You know the drill. Use a password manager for unique, strong passwords. And please enable multi-factor authentication, or MFA, on all your important accounts. But here's the pro tip for travelers. Use an authenticator app, not SMS texts, for your MFA. Why? Because SIM swapping and intercepting texts is a real risk abroad. An authenticator app is way more secure. For really high-risk trips, you might even want to set up travel-only passwords.
Okay, so you've done all your homework, your devices are prepped, but you're still going to need to get online, right? So what about all that sketchy, unsecured Wi-Fi we talked about? How do you stay safe on that?
The answer is a VPN. That stands for Virtual Private Network. The easiest way to think about it is like this. It creates a secure, encrypted tunnel for all your internet traffic. It basically makes everything you do online invisible to anyone who might be snooping on that public network. Honestly, if you're traveling internationally, a good VPN is not a nice-to-have, it's a must-have.
All right, Section 3, staying secure while abroad. So you've landed, you're ready to explore. Now it's all about simple daily habits that'll keep you safe. These are easy things that can make a huge difference.
Okay, your phone's about to die, and you see that public USB charging port at the airport. Be careful. That's a classic spot for something called juice jacking, where hackers can slurp up your data through the charging cable. So what do? Easy. First, always try to use a regular wall outlet with your own power brick. Second, carry a portable battery pack. Or third, get one of these awesome little gadgets called a USB data blocker. It physically blocks the data pins so only power can get through.
I know. You just took the perfect photo and you want to post it on social media right now. But try to resist. When you post in real time, you're basically broadcasting, "Hey everyone, I'm a tourist and I'm right here." It's a digital signpost for potential thieves. So a few smart habits: turn off location tagging on your posts, maybe tighten up your privacy settings just for the trip, and better yet, wait to post your photos until after you've left that spot.
All right, Section 4, your welcome home checklist. So, you had an amazing trip, you're back home safe and sound. Awesome. But wait, we're not quite done. We need to do one last thing to make sure you didn't bring back any nasty digital souvenirs. Think of it as a digital decontamination for your devices.
So here's your quick post-travel scan. First, and this is super important, before you connect your devices to your home or work Wi-Fi, run a malware scan, just to be safe. Second, change the passwords for any accounts you logged into while you're away. Third, now you can go ahead and restore your normal settings and sync everything back up. And finally, take a minute to think about it. What worked well? What could you do better next time? Every trip is a chance to refine your security plan.
Okay, last section. Your key takeaway. We have covered a ton of ground, right? From sketchy Wi-Fi to border security to juice jacking. But if all of that fades and you only remember one single thing from our chat today, please let it be this. So, what's the most effective security strategy of all? It's data minimization. It's so simple. If you don't have the data on your device, they can't take it from you. It's the ultimate trump card. They can't steal what isn't there.
So, your next trip is already on the calendar. You've got the flights booked, maybe the hotel too. But now you have a new question to ask yourself. Is your data ready for the journey?